All right, this lesson is on the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder is a tool that we use to either merge shapes or to break shapes apart. And these shapes can be either shapes that you have drawn manually by hand using some of the tools that you'll be learning about later, like the pen tool or the pencil tool. But it can also be used on shapes that are drawn in the program, such as circles, squares, trapezoids, stars, whatever. Okay, so any of the shapes that are in here. Okay, so to get started, we're going to go ahead and open up the Pathfinder palette. You go to Window, Pathfinder, and this is what the Pathfinder looks like. And the way that this works is that you can take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 multiple shapes, and you can ask them to interact either by merging or breaking apart or any of the different options that you see here. So to do that, you have to select the shapes that you're trying to get to interact with one another. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one. And then I'm going to hold down Shift and click on the other one. Holding down Shift and clicking allows me to multiple select different items. Okay, so right now I have both of them selected, and I'm going to go ahead and click the first option. So you see what it does. It says Unite, so if you click on them, it'll unite them together. Now you'll notice that one shape was orange before, and the shape that was on top, you could tell which one is on top by what you see visible, so you can tell this one's on top. It'll usually keep the top color when it unites them because it has to pick a color to be, since now they're one shape. Okay, for the next one I'm going to go ahead and click on one, hold down Shift, click on the other. Now I'm going to click the second option, and this one says minus the front, so whatever is on front is going to be deleted. So that blue area right there, click on it, and notice it cut off that blue area right there. So this is a nice way if you were trying to make a crescent shaped moon, how you would do that. I'm going to go to the other one, click on it, hold down Shift, click on the other one, and you'll notice it'll say intersect. So it will intersect and keep the intersecting shape. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. It kept that area. Okay. For this other one, I'm going to click it, hold down Shift, click the other one, go to the fourth option here, and then it's going to say exclude. So it's going to exclude the overlapping area. So you'll notice it excluded that overlapping area. Okay, and then this same one here can be also used when you completely overlap them like this. It'll exclude the overlapping area. So in essence, it should take out that inner area. So it'll create like a donut shape. Hold down Shift, make sure that one's selected, go there and do that. So you can create like a frame or a donut, and you'll notice now you can see the green of the background through it. Okay, for this area here, click it, hold down Shift, try this one. It's going to break it apart, but you can't see it. So I'm going to click off over here, and then I'm going to click on it, and you notice if I move it, it gets stuck together. So there's actually another step you need to do for this one to be able to see the individual parts. You're going to break these apart, and I'm going to go ahead and right click and do ungroup. And now if we click off of it, you'll notice that basically when it divides all the different areas, it will give me all the little sections where they intersect. So I get to keep all of the pieces. But there was that extra step of ungrouping by right clicking and ungrouping. Okay, now this one, click it, hold down Shift. The next one, trim. It'll trim the areas. If I click off of it, click on it, you'll notice they're grouped. So it's the same thing with this one. I'm going to right click it and ungroup, and then I'm going to click off of it so I can just grab one area, and it'll break apart the areas like this. Okay, so it did similar to what this did, except for it allowed me to keep the different areas here. Okay, now I'm not going to go through the rest of these here, but I do provide you with a PDF down below this video that kind of breaks down what happens if you kind of want to go and try to look at them and figure it out here, or you can also just experiment it, you know, try your own circles, see what it is that these are doing, these different options. Okay, I'm going to go back to this area here. And I'm going to go ahead and focus on this area here. And basically, we can also use this Pathfinder to break apart existing shapes so that we can create illusions like this, kind of like a cupcake holder. And if we look at these, I'm going to go ahead and pull them apart. They're different little areas, and they're all filled in with a slightly different color. And next week, we're going to be learning more about how to draw these shapes manually using like the pen tool and the pencil tool. But in essence, everything that we draw is going to be closed shapes like this that we can then fill with color. Okay, so I'm going to show you kind of what to do, what not to do, and how to use this tool to create what you're supposed to do. So I'm going to go ahead and undo these and put these together. Okay. All right. And usually what people tend to do, they tend to think the way that they do when they draw by hand, and that's not the way we draw in the program. So people will tend to kind of draw the outline shape of this, you know, once you do have the tools, like I said, the pen tool or the pencil tool, to create this outer shape. And then they'll just draw lines. So these lines that are just kind of straight down here, giving the illusion of these lines that are creating these separations. But the only bad thing about that is that you can't color these different little areas in between here this way. So if I go in here and try to, like, say, select that little area here, it actually selects the whole thing. So if I go in there and try to change it and do a slightly darker color, it actually changes everything in between here. Okay? So we don't want to do this, but there is a way that we can use this idea of an outer shape and lines to create these shapes, similar to what we did in here in this area. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and show you. I have this shape here, and I want to cut out these little edges here, and then I also want to slice it, and I want to have these be closed shapes that I can fill with color. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of zoom into this area so we can see what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a rectangle, and I'm going to turn it on its side here. It's kind of like a square. It's like a diamond shape. And then I'm just going to position it, and the key is just getting it to highlight the area that you want so that you can move it. Okay, there it is. And then I'm just going to go edit, copy, edit, paste. So Command C, Command V. Okay, Command C, Command V. And it just gave me a copy, and now I'm just going to move that into position. Okay, and I'm only going to do a few of these, so it's not going to look beautiful. I'm going to do another V, and then I'm going to move it into position here. And you know, you can also hold down your Alt key and you can drag, and that'll make a copy. So I'm holding down the Alt key, clicking, holding down, and dragging, and then releasing. Okay. So once I have those in position, if I select that base, hold down Shift, click, click, click. I'm holding down Shift so I can multiple select. I can then use any option that allows me to exclude. So say here where it says minus the front, we know that these little shapes are on top because we drew them last. So now if we go ahead and we click on minus front, you'll notice it just excluded those areas. Now we have that part of it covered, which is the top part. Now to do the area that cuts these apart, we'll do the line tool here, and we'll just go ahead and I'm going to click here. But instead of just drawing from this little edge here, when we use this tool to break things apart, we actually want it to go way over, like we want it to extend past the line. It needs to intersect the line for it to work. So we're just going to go like that. And right now there's no outline on it. I'm going to go ahead and just add an outline so we can see it. Okay, I'm just going to pick a darker color. There we go. And then I'm just going to keep drawing. Okay. And it doesn't have to be with the line tool. It can also be with the pencil tool if you needed it to curve or do anything funky here. But that's what we're doing right now. And then once you're done with that, I'm going to go ahead and grab my selection tool. I'm going to select that one. I'm going to hold down Shift, select the first line, the second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line. Okay. And what I'm going to use is this one here called divide, because it's going to divide all of these pieces where I put the line. I'm going to divide it, and you'll notice it's all merged here. If I click off of it and I try to move it, it's all one piece, even though it does show me the little area. So I'm going to undo that. Now I'm going to right click. I'm going to ungroup. Okay, now if I click off of it and I come back, I can grab the individual area. So I could grab that one, hold down Shift, grab that one, hold down Shift, that one there, and then I can change this slightly darker. Okay, so that's another way to cut it apart so that you don't have to draw the individual areas separately, although you can, and I'm going to show you how to do that when you learn about the pen tool. Okay? All right, this concludes your lesson on the Pathfinder. If you have any questions, please be sure to contact me.